It's called Romanza, but it's not about romantic love. I wanted it to be like all your love, your best friend, your pet, your mother or father who died, who you love. The musicians played beautifully, and the Budapest Scoring Orchestra is world-class. So I came here in April, and I met Balint, and I met Peter. I got to sit in a bit on one of the sessions, so I got to hear the musicians actually play and walk in the hall and get a real sense of everything. I loved many things here. You have this old studio from Kodai in the 50s. This hall evokes almost like a Hollywood classic recording stage with all the wood, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous hall. So I felt immediately like when I do my music, it'll have some of that ambiance and space and resonance.
The opening of Romanza is very mysterious and soft. It focuses on the string orchestra trying to echo each other and form this melody, this melodic gesture that has a large drop, a large intervallic drop to it. Very simple. So it's a kind of melodic fragment, but also a melody. And when it completes itself, we then have a presentation of the main melody for the first time. And basically the string orchestra plays with this main melody. It's given a bit of a contrapuntal and canon-like treatment. And all of this opening section resolves to the entrance of the piano. Really beautiful performance by Marwan.
From the very beginning, when I started working on this piece, my first idea was that this music is very personal.
Love it, love it. Yeah, I love the sonority. I mean, it's amazing. I worked really closely with him on this, and I would love to work with him again. And I was very anxious about working with a pianist I'd never worked with before, but he was really, really great. And even our last rehearsal, like we really got close on the music. We want to feel like there's something special happening at this moment. It's a sweeter, yeah.
Okay. What struck me was that Nathan has an idea behind each note. It's not like you just play and then he's happy whatever you do with his music. He has an exact idea how it should sound, how the notes are forming sentences, phrases.
It doesn't have to be too much, you know what I mean? Like, yes, yeah.
Till now I mostly played on the piano and imagined how it would sound, but hearing the orchestra is really something, and I think it's a truly beautiful piece to play and also to listen to.
So I brought my mixing engineer, Anton, here from Köln, super nice guy. We've worked together before, and not just in the mixing, but in this case, like even the preparation, like he helped me make the session plan. So we knew we had 6 hours, how exactly to break up the time. And he's also a really good listener and ear. He has like a kind of a sculptor's approach.
It's great to work with Nathan because he is not just writing the score, but he also has a vision on how it should sound in the end. We already talked about how we would set up the orchestra for an acoustic experience while he was still working on the music. And I think it was already influencing some choices in instrumentation, and vice versa. We put a lot of work into crafting a good plan, how we would guide the musicians through this piece, what was important to us to know really what kind of music we would like them to play. and still be open for all of their input and their spontaneity and all of their joy they would bring to the table.
As a percussionist in an orchestra is always fulfilling if it involves more significant playing instead of just embellishments and decorations, which is often found in symphonic repertoire. So this session we got a lot of opportunities to make a change in the music.
All the details are so much developed in a sense that you can feel that really hard job was behind. At the same time, it's a really round piece, full of emotions, and it's fun to play.
Toward the end of the piece, we go into a darker section in the minor mode. It gives the orchestra a chance to really build and build and build in a cinematic and dramatic way. I felt like it represented an obstacle or impediment to love or a fear of loss. And when we reach the point of no return, this melody that represents love asserts itself again, and in the big climax there. I really like this part of the piece because it allowed for an opportunity for all the different parts of the orchestra, but also the different themes, the melodies to be presented together, almost like a reunion in a way. And that resolves in a poignant way because the bell chime, which of course can represent a church, it can represent a wedding or a call to a religious service, but it can also mean a funeral. And it can also sound like a doorbell. And a doorbell can also be remembering somebody coming home or somebody arriving at the door that will no longer be there, or somebody that's gone. And I think it's at this moment when we go into the last 3 minutes of the piece that we aren't sure if everything we've listened to was a straight line, beginning, middle, and end, where we were moving forward in time in this linear way. We start to suspect that maybe everything that we've been listening to already happened long ago and we're remembering it. When I write a piece of music like Romanza, I don't like to tell people how to interpret the story because the music is really open to interpretation and it can mean something different for each person. In my case, I was inspired very much by my cats. Heidi was my first cat, and I was never a cat person, but she was my mom's cat. And my mom passed suddenly back in 2013, and Heidi was just 2 years old. And when I was out at my mom's house with my sister, we became best friends very quickly, really in the first 24 hours, and we were inseparable. When she passed away suddenly in 2023, in September, I was devastated. And on my walks here close to my house at Montbrazil, I had met a cat, Lua, and Lua was very different from Heidi, a young boy and full of energy, but they looked similar. They had kind of a in the family look, like their eyes were very similar. I had the thought, maybe I would adopt him. And so it was many, many weeks later, I was feeding him and making friends with him and sort of seeing him on my walks and not rushing into adopting him. But finally one day he crawled into my shirt and I just knew it was the right thing. And so now he's home with me and for the last 2 years now he's been my cat. And I feel both with him and with Heidi a similar feeling, and it's a pure kind of relationship and one that I value at the highest level.
So in the end, the idea is that from a distance, like we hear the crotales at the end, that even at the end, it was worth it. And in a way, the crotale is like, I hear you, I hear you. So it was very emotional for me. So I really put a lot of myself into the piece. I never like in any of my pieces to say, okay, you need to think about this, this, and this, or like, here's the main character, here's the villain, here's the story. I never do that because I feel like you want the listener to be able to have their own story and what they hear. But I do try to make music that kind of tells a story or has the shape of a story.